Hi friends, I hope you're having an inspiring day. So the other day I was scrolling through Instagram and came across a post by Valeria Lipovetsky. She is on YouTube and on Instagram, and her Instagram post showed some finds that she had found at a vintage store here in Toronto called Exile Inc., I believe, in Kensington Market. And it's a vintage store that I had not even heard of before, but her finds and deals were amazing. So naturally I went out yesterday and checked out the vintage store, and we found some gems, my friends. So I haven't done a thrift haul in a while, and I'm so excited to show you guys my finds today. I'm definitely going to be headed to a couple other thrift stores in the coming weeks as well. I always love checking out thrift stores. The problem is that sometimes you just don't find things, and so there's not really much to share with you guys. But this time I did find a ton of items, and this vintage thrift store I'd say is categorized like on the higher level than like the Goodwills and the Value Villages, mostly because it's pre-curated and everything's already kind of vetted. So a lot of the pieces are categorized as vintage because they actually are vintage and not just secondhand. So you're gonna find much older brands, you're gonna find much different quality because clothing back in the day, like 30-50 years ago, were just made better. But this particular vintage thrift store had such great style, such great curation, and also a really big variety in sizes. So that was really great to see. With all that rambling, I'll make sure to link all of the information in the description box below on the store. But let me show you guys what I got. Alright, so typically when I go to vintage thrift stores, I don't normally find all that many things. It's normally some from here, some from there, some from here, some from there. But I ended up finding 5 items and spent just under $200 on them. All right, and the first piece that I got here was this gorgeous and probably my best pick of the crop. This gorgeous blue, very structured shoulders, long pea coat. And this one here, like as soon as you feel vintage pieces, I feel like you already know the fabric is heavier. It's just better made than things are today. I find today I kind of have to pick and choose or kind of test out different brands to see how their quality is. But this jacket here is hefty, and it's got a tag on it. It says Fairbrook at the top there, but on the inside here it has a little stitching and it says made expressly for Saks Fifth Avenue. So I'm not really sure what that means, if it's Fairbrook or if it's Saks. But either way, it's a beautiful wool jacket, nice long length. You guys know I'm a big fan of long coats, and this beautiful navy color, which I don't really have much of, mostly because I don't wear a lot of navy, but I feel like this is almost like a black navy, so it goes with most things. All right, so like I said, very long. It's got that button detail at the back here with the strap, pockets on the sides here. Now, the one thing about this jacket is it was actually missing a button on the outer edge of the jacket, but a little hack for you guys, if that is something that's missing on your vintage coat, what you can do is look for a button on the inside, which typically fastens the coat but isn't seen. I'm gonna take that button and I'm gonna replace this missing button here with that, and then just throw in like an everyday button on the inside just because it doesn't get seen, so it doesn't really need to match. But because it was missing that button, typically this jacket is marked there for $90, but it was on sale for $40. I'm assuming because it was missing that button, and such a good find. All right, here is that beautiful pea coat on, and how beautiful is this? I love these structured shoulders. You don't find jackets with this much structure in today's jacket world. It just looks so ladylike, so beautiful and bold. I love, 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 love the coats like this. Like I said, I feel like they just don't make these structured shoulder pads anymore, and I've actually found jackets like this at thrift stores in the past. It's just that they're never normally my size, and this one is actually a smaller size, so it actually fits me properly. And like I said, this navy color is not normally my go-to sort of color, but it's beautiful on, and honestly I feel like it's kind of like a black color, so we'll go with a lot. Like I said, it's also missing that button, but I plan on taking that button from the inside out and putting it here and finding another button just for fastening purposes. But how chic is this coat? I feel like belted as well looks so beautiful on, and this was such a great find for $40. All right, next up, something that I love to thrift slash vintage shop for is blazers and oversized blazers. Now, the problem with those is that you obviously have to try them on. So you do have to take a little bit of time to do that, to find the perfect fit, and obviously it's going to be different styles, so it's going to be a little bit harder to find those key pieces. I found one or two in the past that I've really loved, but I always like to check out the vintage blazer section while I'm at a thrift or vintage store. A little tip for you guys is not just to check out the women's collections and the women's section, check out the men's blazers, because that's what's really going to give you that masculine oversized look, kind of 80s inspired. And I picked up this gorgeous plaid wool blazer from there. Again, the fabric on this is so beautiful. You guys know that I'm a big fan of this sort of tweed looking, plaid looking wool print. I have a couple blazers like it, but this one here just beautifully made, so well structured, and fits so nicely, as you guys will see. This is actually from the men's shop, dry clean only at JCPenney, but definitely a vintage, an older piece. And it's got that extra length because it is a men's blazer. You can obviously buy an oversized boyfriend style blazer. They're very trendy right now. You can get them at like fast fashion brands, but this one here, just, it looks so expensive when on. And this blazer here was normally $59.99 at their store, which I'm not gonna lie, is quite expensive, but it was on sale for $39.99. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you, when I go to some of these vintage stores, especially if they've got such great finds and beautifully curated pieces like this, I kind of compare it in my mind to a Zara. Like, would I spend $40 on this at Zara? If the answer is yes, then you might as well get the vintage piece. I mean, like, obviously we have different standards for different places to shop, thrift stores and vintage stores. My standards are typically lower, typically like them to be around the $10 to $20 range. But the way I think about it is this piece worth coming into my closet for the price that it's at, regardless if it's secondhand or used or not? And the answer to this blazer and many of these pieces is yes. Here is that oversized men's blazer on. And again, despite being a men's blazer, it actually fits a lot like the blazers that I've picked up recently that are in women's sections. Again, you just really have to try on the blazers to see how they're gonna look and how they're gonna fit. This one is actually a men's small, so it's, I think because it's tailored, it's meant to be like a slim fit on a guy. It actually fits quite well as a boyfriend blazer for me. It drops over my shoulder a bit, which is nice because it gives you that oversized look, but not so much that it literally looks like it's not a blazer for me. And again, this fabric is so beautiful. Just zooming in there so you guys can see the fabric quality of that wool blend. Even the buttons are so well made, so beautifully done. You're just gonna get that with vintage pieces. There's not really gonna be a question about how well it's made, just because back then things were typically made locally and with a lot more care. I feel like things were obviously more expensive in terms of the pricing that they were used to, but they were very well made, and this blazer, so excited about this blazer. All right, moving along to bottoms. I scored bottoms at a vintage store, and honestly, when I thrift slash vintage shop, I always find bottoms to be the most difficult to find. One, because I find the sizes don't always work out. A lot of the smaller sizes are typically not available, and for some reason, like, I just never find ones that I like. But here I found 3 bottoms that I loved, and one of the pieces is actually one that I almost bought for $100 at Aritzia, and I'm so glad that I didn't, because this one is made so much better. And it is this gorgeous pleated plaid skirt. Now, plaid pleated skirts are definitely a trend right now, definitely super in style. You guys have seen me pick up a black pleated skirt in the past, and I've been wearing it on heavy repeat just because, again, I find it one of those trends that's very easy to wear and incorporate into your closet. I consider it one of those like trendy basic basic or classic pieces, but this one here is obviously a little bit more intense. I'm not gonna lie, I actually brought home my school uniform. I had to wear a kilt in school, and I brought it home to see if it would fit that trend, but unfortunately my uniform in high school was like a green, like a bright green, and I really don't wear that color. So I was really excited to find this one here. It is a wool blend, so it's beautifully made, again, much heavier in texture, definitely better quality than Aritzia's. It's got the zipper enclosure on the side and a button there, and this skirt here was $30, which is a little bit heftier, but again, definitely not Aritzia's $100 price. All right, here is the plaid skirt on, and what did I say about fit? Like, I never find pieces at thrift stores that fit me so well, and this skirt was just perfect. Like I said, I had tried on and mulled over the one at Aritzia, almost got it, but I'm so glad that I didn't, because this one is so cute. I'm not sure if it was like a fashion piece or if maybe it was a school uniform, but either way, I love the colors in it. I find them really wearable. Definitely the colors that I have in my closet a lot. Even on the inside of the pleats, you can actually see this beautiful gradient action here. Look at that, so beautiful, and really, really happy that I picked up this skirt. Like I said, it just fits so well, and I never find skirts that fit me this well. All right, and I also scored pants, which honestly, like, I am so flabbergasted because I never ever find pants at vintage thrift stores. The first one here is this gorgeous sort of sandstone warm gray color. It's got that, because these are vintage and they're older pieces, the style was naturally super high-waisted and kind of like balloony, if that makes sense. And I'm really into that look. I actually have a couple pieces that I picked up from Everlane that has that exact silhouette. But this one here, again, thin at the top here, kind of balloons out to a tapered leg at the bottom, and for some reason this length actually worked out on me perfectly. This is from Episode by Carolyn White Freeman. Not quite sure about that, but it is actually a US size 4, so exactly my size, so really impressed with that. And again, the quality of the piece is just so much more beautiful than they make them today, and really excited about this color because I feel like I have a lot of tops in this color, but not a lot of bottoms, so I thought this was gonna look really smart, especially with like a tucked in white tank top or something like that. Definitely Aritzia vibes. What I'm realizing is a lot of pieces at Aritzia are like very vintage inspired, and I love Aritzia's style. It's just that there's only a few times where I can really like bite on to the price point because they are quite hefty in price. And this piece here was not Aritzia pricing. It was $24.99. Again, you can definitely find this at thrift stores like Value Village and Goodwill for much cheaper. You just have to kind of search for them. All right, here are the drape pleat pants on, and reminds me a lot of the Everlane pleat pants that I have and I love. This one definitely has a much smaller waistline. It barely fits me. It fits me when I don't have like a sweater tucked into it. This is definitely something that I would wear with probably like a tighter shirt underneath, just to kind of balance out how balloon leg the bottom pants are, but just such a beautiful look. Like, I love this sort of really, really high waistline, high-waisted pant with this like balloon style look. I just find it really, really cool and elevated, and I find that this is a really nice way to kind of dress up your work look, or to wear kind of work pants in a cooler way. Again, definitely a balloon style. This was definitely a thing back in the day, but so cool. And like I said, probably gonna wear it with like a cropped tank top or like a tucked in ribbed t-shirt, and I feel like this is gonna be a really, really cute look. All right, and the last piece that I got here was this black high-waisted, tapered, again, pleated balloon pant, and it is so beautiful. This thicker, like, this thicker belt waistband area and these belt loop holes is very unique, I think, to that vintage style. And I have a few. I actually picked up a brand new luxury designer thick belt. And I'm actually noticing that a lot of pants don't create belt loops for that because it just isn't very common these days. But back in the day, the belts were very chunky, very wide, and so naturally the belt loops were much wider. So really excited to have found this piece, and the pleats are gorgeous in the front there. This is from a brand called Iller. Iller? I'm not quite sure. I'm really confused with the sizing. This size says 7 to 8, but it's definitely not a 7 to 8. But I was actually educated by the girl working at the vintage store that back in the day, sizing was really all over the place and really depended on the designer who created the piece and how they wanted to size their pieces. So I actually find that really confusing. I'm not really sure how people shopped back in the day, but really excited about these pants here. And these were $24.99. All right, and here are the black pants on, very similar in style, like that very tight, high-waisted action, balloon style hip, and then tapered pants. You kind of got that like balloon and then back thin again silhouette. Love this sort of style of pant, especially from a vintage style store. And this one here is a little bit less tight in the waistband area than the other one, but like I said, the biggest thing that I loved about it is the fact that it's got these gigantic belt loop holes that I feel like are very rare to find these days. These beautiful pleats as well that go down the leg of the pant I feel like are so beautiful as well. I'm a big fan of pleats. I find them very, very elevated, and I think that they look so chic on, and especially if they're done right. The surprising thing is that the pant length on all of these just fits so well. I'm not sure if I was just the average height of people back then, but just love them so much. You could probably find these in your mom's closet. I definitely showed my mom these and she was like, I had these in the 80s, the 70s and 80s. So definitely look into your parents' closets, but very, very happy with these pants here and definitely going to be very wearable throughout the seasons because they're a black pair of pants. And that is it for my vintage thrift haul today. Like I said, I got 5 items, 2 jackets slash blazers, 3 bottoms for under $200. So really great finds in my opinion. If these were at like a typical thrift store, like a Valley Village or a Goodwill, I would feel like they were a little bit overpriced. But like I said, I kind of paid for the convenience of going into the vintage store that was already pre-curated for me, already separated into sizes and colors and categories, and it just made it a lot easier to shop. And they definitely know their stuff, they know their style, what's in, because it was just so easy to find things that I loved. Again, I will link the store details in the description box below in case you are from Toronto and want to check it out, and or if you ever visit Toronto. I know it's kind of hard to travel right now, trust me, I definitely feel that, but I'll leave this down there just in case you guys ever come to Toronto and want to check it out. Anyhow, I hope you guys liked this video. It's been a while since I've done like a vintage thrift haul, but you guys know that I have a deep love for thrifting. Dave and I actually like started our relationship in some of our early dates thrifting, so it's definitely very near and dear to both of our hearts. We love kind of just walking through and looking at old treasures and the stories behind them. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the pieces that I got, and if you found any really great vintage finds recently or have been thrift shopping. And if you guys like these types of videos, I'll make sure to try to make more of them more often. I know it's been a while. And if you're new to the Inspired family, thank you so much for giving this video a watch. We hope you join us for a bit longer and subscribe. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Mel Wang. I post style, fashion, and lifestyle tips there as well. But with that, I hope you guys have an inspiring rest of your day. Remember that kindness doesn't cost a thing, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye!